it's finally that time of the year. Time to jump on the bike and take my first long trip of 2024. And like I started last year, this year I am once again heading down to the Horizons Unlimited meet near Appomattox, Virginia. Hey, so out here today, getting ready to head to the Horizons Unlimited meet down in Virginia. And of course, it's cold today, so I'll be throwing my heated gear on. Warming up the bike right now, getting that heated seat going and the grips. But it's supposed to warm up. Once I get down to Virginia, it's supposed to be in the 70s and 80s the rest of this week. So we just have to get out of New England. All right, here we go. Now, before I could get to the great riding that was going to be out near the Catskills, I had to make my way through some congested area. And if you've watched my channel before, you know I wasn't going to make it out of town without stopping at a Dunkin' Donuts. But eventually I would make my way onto some great back roads south of the Ashokan Reservoir before finding Route 17 and heading into Hancock, New York for the night. All right, I'm up this morning. It's a little before 7. Came out to check the bike. You can see I'm the only one in the parking lot here today. Bike's fine, other than it's covered in frost. So it's chilly out here. So gonna wait a little while. Hopefully things will warm up. Go see if I can find some coffee. I've stayed at the Hancock House many times, and for the most part I've always had a great service and a good meal. But last night's meal, well, it wasn't so good. But fortunately, the breakfast was, and they had plenty of coffee. And for the adventure riders out there, I see Hancock is putting together an adventure motorcycle welcome center since they're right at the beginning of the Northeast BDR. All right, all packed up. It's about 9:12, so by the time I get out of here, about 9:15. 328 miles to go or so today, so that's all right. I'd rather it warm up a little bit. It's about 40 degrees right now, or getting that way. So if I have to ride a little bit later into the evening, that's fine. As long as it's not in the 30s like it was earlier. So let's gear up and get on the road. Leaving Hancock, I immediately crossed over into Pennsylvania and found myself riding down tree-lined roads and through beautiful farm fields. So I've been running about an hour and it's heating up. It's almost 60 degrees now on the bike. So got rid of the heated liner, put on just my puffy down liner, and I think that should be good for quite a while now. So about 140 miles down, less than 200 to go. As you can see up there, blue skies, beautiful day in the 60s while riding. Said really a nice day, beautiful roads here in Pennsylvania. $200 down, about 120 or so left to go. All right, I made it here to Breezewood. Great day, actually. Beautiful weather. It's a little overcast. I think maybe some rain's coming in tonight, but beautiful day. But I'm a tired puppy. The last two rows were fantastic. I remember them being great from last year, but just like last year, I remember we were tired by the end of the day. So that's the truth again here. So I'm gonna get all my stuff up to the room and clean up and go see if I can find something to eat. For day 3, I headed into Lexington, Virginia. Today we would go through Pennsylvania, West Virginia, Virginia, and I think even touch a little bit of Maryland along the way. Once again, the roads were spectacular and car-free. One of the highlights of the day would be crossing the Old Town Toll Bridge, which goes over the north branch of the Potomac River, marking the border between Maryland and West Virginia. The Old Town Bridge is Maryland's only privately owned tollway. It was originally built in 1937 and has gone through a change of hands several times in its history. In 2010 was the last time a new management team took over and now continues to operate the bridge as well as some campsites in the area. You can read more about the bridge at oldtownbridge.com. After crossing the bridge, I stopped at this little country store and asked to use the restroom. Well, they pointed me back that way between the two deer heads. Great day so far. Few clouds in the sky, but again, that blue is peeking through. It's around 70 degrees right now, just under that on the bike. So really turning out to be a nice day. Fantastic roads, just utterly amazing, and no traffic whatsoever. About 1 o'clock right now. I've got under 100 miles left to go for the day, so I'll be in about 3 o'clock, something like that, which is a little early, but that's okay. Honestly, I could use the extra rest. So my old bones are still getting used to this riding for the year. It seems like a different body part is hurting every day. But I keep pushing on, having a great time. Stopped at this little store that got a little bit of everything in there. While I'm on this trip, I'm also collecting some data for some future reviews. I changed out the windscreen here. I've got the huge touring windscreen for the Triumph Tiger 1200, so I'll be bringing that review to you. Also, I've got this new Schubert C30 helmet that I have mixed feelings about. Again, we'll be bringing you that review. And then, of course, I'll be talking about my
arrow stitch Darien jacket, because this is the first real long trip that I've taken with it. All right, had one last pee to make sure I'm empty. Now let's gear back up and hit the road. All right, so I made it to Lexington, Virginia, got in about 3:30, checked in, got all cleaned up, of course, and now I'm gonna walk over, and there supposedly is a Ruby Tuesday down the street, so I'm gonna see if I can get over to it or not, without getting run over anyway. So a beautiful day though. Again, no rain. There was a few little sprinkles when I left Breezewood, but once I started heading south, then those sprinkles went away, and we had, you know, cloudy skies, but as you can see behind me, blue breaking through all day, and just absolutely great roads. All right, well, that was good. Now we'll see if we can get back across the street. I made it. It's kind of silly that there's no crosswalk up there. Yeah, see, now I got to get across this side of the street as well. Oh. Of course, I'm doing it while I'm carrying this damn phone. Okay, we're all packed up. This is day 4, and I'm going to be heading into the Horizons Unlimited meet today. Got a couple hours to ride today, only about 90 miles, but really nice little back road ride I took last year. So I'm looking forward to doing this again.
And the highlight of that trip is to jump on Virginia 56, which is a curvy mountain road, the kind that we motorcyclists just love to travel. And after enjoying that great ride, I pulled in to the holiday 4-H camp near Appomattox, Virginia. That would be the home of the Hum for 2024.
All right, so I made it here. I've actually been here for a little while now. I got my tent all set up. Yes, I'm actually camping, believe it or not. See, I don't mind doing it when I set up for a few days. Also, I brought the big tent, right? Because I want to be comfortable if I'm out there. But the weather is supposed to be pretty good. We've got really only a small chance of rain today and tomorrow, and then I believe on Saturday like 20%. So looks like it's going to be a great weekend. And then when I leave on Sunday, it's going to be like 80. All right, so yeah, it looks like we're going to have good weather for this trip. I'm very pleased about that. The presentations have already started. We had our first presentation about the Motorcycle Sport Touring Association, which I had never heard of, so got to learn about that. And we've got more lined up. Our headliner for this weekend is, of course, Sam Manicom. He's going to talk about his travels in Asia. So again, looking forward to hearing about all that, and of course, meeting and talking to all of the other fellow travelers. It's a Friday morning here at Horizons Unlimited, Virginia. It's a little overcast and cloudy today. So it's a little overcast and a little chilly this morning, but we got a lot of presentations going on, so I'm just going to be sitting through most of those and enjoying them for today. And of course, talking to some other fellow riders. And yes, I know I'm repeating myself, but that is really what a Horizons Unlimited meet is all about. Learning, sharing, discussing, just having a great time hanging out and talking about the passion that we all share. Now, of course, we had a lot of great presentations for Friday, but one of them that I thought was really fun and interesting was Alex Raponen, who showed us that if you really want to, if you really put your mind to it, you could bake while you're traveling by motorcycle. Another highlight for me was a panel discussion from these guys, Sam Manicom, David Woodburn, and Greg Terp. Now, these guys are all world travelers. Sam and Dave both spent many years traveling around the world, and Greg, well, he came to it a little later in life, but is now going out there and really traveling as much as he possibly can. So we got to sit down and listen to them field questions from the audience.
I learned what a frail, weak man I was, and I learned that we're all bigots, and I learned to be tolerant of other people. I learned to think about other people. I'm still not good at it, but every one of us has got biases and bigotry, and if you travel for long enough, you'll either go mad or you'll end up, you lose those biases, and you'll see that people's just trying to put food on the table. You know, in Iran, for example, they're the enemy apparently. Most people in Iran's just trying to put food on the table, trying to educate their children, trying to look after their parents and their grandparents. They don't really care about politics. And you go to Iran and you have a perfect stranger get out of their bed and sleep on the floor, he and his wife, while you take their bed. And I've had that so many places, and Morocco, Turkey, other places, and yeah, that's what I wanted. The folks just spoke, and yeah, it's governance that's the problem. And it's not just governance, it's stupidity. It's people who don't read books and don't think, you know. Anyway.
Yeah, a lot what David said. I sort of learned how fortunate I was just to be born in a country that allowed me to travel and be successful and to sort of tailor the life that I have, where so many people around the world, I mean, they struggle day to day just to make ends meet, to provide for their families, put a roof over their head. And the travel has made me appreciate what we have and also understand that everybody around the world is basically wants the same things for their families and for themselves.
A smile and a handshake go an awfully long way when you don't have any language in common. And then sign language. It's amazing. You can have an hour-long conversation without one single word being spoken, just because you're storytelling with your hands and so on. I ended up staying in a village in the center of Tanzania, and nobody spoke any English at all. But these guys were telling me about tribal hunts and battles with next door tribes and how they made their living and everything else with sign language in the air and drawings on the ground. And after a while, I forgot that we weren't actually using words, that I couldn't understand what they were saying. It just works. But for me, the rule is when I go into a country with a new language, then I start off, before I go in, by learning things like, what's the name for gas? What's the name for water? How do I say please, thank you, goodbye? Those sorts of basic things. And once I've learned 30, 40, 50 of those, then all of a sudden the other words start tagging in. And nobody minds making you an idiot of yourself because you're trying, you're having a go. People want you very fast.
Up this morning, it's day 3 of the Horizons Unlimited event here in Virginia. And here, let me swing around. They're out this morning doing the Farkle walk, which is going around and looking at all the cool accessories that everybody has added to their motorcycles. So the weather has turned a little wet for us, a little cold and wet, but we can't complain. This is the first rain we've had, well, on this entire trip, for me anyway. So it's supposed to move off, and we're supposed to have a nice afternoon and hopefully a good day to pack up and leave tomorrow. And for Saturday, of course, we had more great presentations. And then in the evening, we got to say bon voyage to a couple that is riding down to Ushuaia. All right, it's Sunday. I'm up. Just had a breakfast, last breakfast, said goodbye to everybody. And now I'm going to head and start the packing process. And a big thanks to Linda and all the other volunteers and everybody who helps to put this great event on every year. All right, just after 9 o'clock, all packed up. I'm exhausted now from packing, but we'll hit the road. I don't know what I'm gonna do. I think I'll take the Blue Ridge down for a while, and then we'll see how I feel. And that's exactly what I did. I made my way to the Blue Ridge Parkway and then settled in for a nice, relaxing 2 or 3 hours of traveling down one of America's great motorcycle destinations. Now, the Blue Ridge Parkway is not one of the curviest or fastest roads that you're going to ride. The speed limit is 45 miles an hour, and they watch it pretty closely. But the scenery is amazing. As I settled in behind a fellow biker, I started thinking about the reasons that I like going down to the Horizons Unlimited meet. And of course, I've already mentioned the hanging and the sharing and the talking about our passion for riding motorcycles. But also, I get exposed to things that I normally wouldn't be exposed to if I was just, riding by myself. You get to hear at these events from people that I call lifestyle travelers, and that is like Sam Manicom or David Woodburn, who literally spent 7 to 8 years of their lives traveling around the world, living off of their motorcycles. Right? So that's literally their lifestyle. There are other people that are more like me and kind of look at motorcycling as I'm taking a long vacation a few times a year, but I'm coming back to my home and to my base. There are people who enjoy going to hotels. There are people that enjoy camping. There are people that like to put a lot of adventure into their trips. So you get exposed to all of these kinds of things, and it gets you thinking about what you might like to do in the future.
Now, does that mean I'm going to sell everything I own and go travel the world on my motorcycle? No, I'm probably a little old for that. But there are places that I really would love to go see. I'd love to go to Ireland, the UK. I'd love to go ride around Europe. So I think we're going to have to start seeing if we can't make those things happen. At the end of the Blue Ridge Parkway, I had this great idea. Why don't I jump on the interstate for a little while and see if I can get ahead of schedule? Well, let me put it this way. It didn't work out too well. The interstate was a mess, and I ended up stopping in Stroudsburg, Pennsylvania, where I had originally planned to stop anyway.
All right, so today ended up being one of those days you wish you could take back. I thought I had this brilliant idea that after I got done with the Blue Ridge, which was really a nice ride today, beautiful day, got to talk to some fellow bikers out there on the Parkway. But when I was done, I thought, well, you know, I could go through Shenandoah National Park. I could take another route to get to where I was going, which is Stroudsburg, Pennsylvania. But I said, what if I got on the interstate for a little bit and I got ahead of schedule? Maybe I can get a little bit farther for tomorrow's ride. Well, it didn't work out too well. The interstate was horrible today. And I ended up cutting it short and just pulling off in Stroudsburg, where I had planned to go anyway. So we'll get back on schedule, get back on the back roads tomorrow. But right now I'm going to go grab me something to eat.
Well, I ended up getting this great chicken and pesto dish at the restaurant right next door to the hotel called Castiglia's. If you're ever in Stroudsburg, check them out.
Good morning, how are you? Well, I'll be better in a couple of minutes. I'm doing well.
Here's the owner of that cool Honda Trail 125 I saw in the parking lot.
All right, so all packed up, ready to go on day 8, I think it is, of this trip. I lose count all of the time. But we're heading to Williamsport, Pennsylvania today, and then the final leg will be, of course, home from there. So gonna stick with the back roads today. You know, trying to get off and get on the interstate didn't work yesterday. So I said we'll just stick to the back roads and have a great, relaxing time. Having a great day today. I don't know, 100 plus miles into it. About 160, 170 miles left to go to get to Williamsport. No rain so far, but we may have a shower in the afternoon here. It's supposed to get up to like 90 today. All right, so about 200 miles down, a little over actually, 100 miles left to go. Still, the weather's holding out. It's great. Stopped at a Sheetz, grab a nice cold drink for the next, I don't know, two and a half hours it's going to take to get into Williamsport. And then grab a hotel, grab some food, and home tomorrow. Oh, and with temps in the 80s, near 90 on the bike, the Aero Stitch is doing pretty good. All right, I am all packed up, well, except for these few things that are on the bed here, ready to head home. I got 400 miles to go today. Just going to take it easy, going to stop a lot more than I did yesterday, drank a lot more water than I did yesterday. I only stopped like maybe 3 times, so that wasn't good in the end for me. So we're going to do that, so to make things a little better and see if we can get home tonight. If not, well, then I'll find somewhere, as far as I can go. Just going to play it by ear, see how I feel, not going to push it. All right, 1 hour down. As I said, I'm going to try to stop more. That way I'm going to grab some water, just walk around a little bit, shake out the hands, shake the butt out a little bit, and try to stay a little bit more relaxed and loose today. All right, stop number 2.
Before crossing the Hudson and heading for home, I rode up New York Route 97, otherwise known as the Hawk's Nest. Now, this is a beautiful ride overlooking the Delaware River. But of course, it was cloudy and I had a car in front of me. But through the magic of the 360 camera and a little post-editing, I can brighten things up a little bit. Over the Hudson and headed for home.
All right, stopped, had a little break. Hopefully my final break. I'm gonna head for home. Probably an hour and a half to 2 hours to get home from where I am right now in Enfield, Connecticut. So I can fix this beard. It's looking pretty shabby.
At this point, I actually turned the cameras off. Figure you don't need to see me fighting rush hour traffic all the way back home.
All right, I made it home. It's a little before 8. I left a little after 8, so just about 12 hours today, 410 miles. Started off with some really great, nice, twisty roads, got into some traffic, and then got into some good roads again. But then again, back in the traffic before I got home, so that's what happens when you hit town, around 3 or 4 o'clock. You got to deal with that coming home. But I made it, and overall, it was a great trip. We had a great time. Very successful.